Gossip Talk Shows, Find Your Own Voice, Lead from Within. So with me today, I'm with Amanda Murray and Claudia Passa. How are you ladies?
Good. Ready to talk about our topic, which is exciting.
Good too.
Awesome. Are
Claudia
you
is
guys
here.
enjoying school holiday? Are you enjoying holidays, Amanda, because you're off?
Yeah, it's been nice and quiet. We've been getting lots of rain and it hasn't been very hot, so it doesn't really feel like summer here. I'm like, where's our summer? Usually we're at the beach every day and it's been just raining and I'm like, oh. It's been a cooler summer than normal.
We've been lucky in the UK, right, Nomsa?
Yeah, we've been
Yeah.
very lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though we had a few rain days,
Yeah, we did.
but it rains and then it goes back to sunny days.
Yes.
So yeah.
Yeah. I'm totally with you.
Yeah, so
And it's a
so
lovely
far we
evening.
can't complain.
Yeah, same here as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's get into the topic, guys. So the topic today is setting standards, not walls, queen level boundaries. Being a queen isn't about being guided, it's about knowing your worth and building a life where love, respect, and peace reign. Too often we confuse boundaries with emotional walls, but true boundaries aren't meant to block love. They are meant to teach it how to treat us. So I'm interested, guys. What was in your mind, Amanda and Claudia, when you guys chose this topic?
Amanda, why did you choose this topic? Because I suggested you a few and then you picked one. So what was different?
Because I think right now, especially in the like dating world, that people don't really have like boundaries or standards. And a lot of people like sleep together on the first night and don't really, and then are wondering why people don't like treat them well or respect them. And I really think that like building people's self-confidence to get to a point where you're like, I'm valued and I want to be treated a certain way, and I'm not going to like allow somebody into my life that's going to not treat me in a respectful way that I want to be in the way that I want to be treated. And if we keep letting people in that like aren't up to our standards, then they're never gonna like rise up, right? And it's almost like even with children, when you like set expectations for them, they'll like rise up to the level like so often in my classroom when I set like expectations and I'm like, no, you guys, this is the expectation. And unless they have like a big learning disability, like this is the expectation, I expect you to do it. And then they almost always rise up, almost always. And there are those kids that like have learning disabilities that won't get to that point. But like, I think this applies to not just like areas of dating, but it also applies to like real life and how you want even your children to show up, or in my case, my students to show up, in some people's places, like their employees, how they want them to show up. I was just talking with a friend the other day at the gym about an employee that they had, and how he was it was like a bad situation, and so I was like, how are you going to deal with this? And I was like, I would just leave it till Monday and like deal with it then. And he was like, okay. And then when I talked to him yesterday at the gym, he like had said what he did as the boss, and it was like set really clear boundaries around what the expectations is for their employment. And if they do not follow these expectations, then they no longer have a job. And so it's almost like being on like academic probation kind of thing, but like on like clear work expectations. And I think that's something that's really important, right? Is if you are in any area of your life, is to have really clear boundaries on what the expectations are, and have empathy for people when they're going through a hard time. But at the same time too, there's still like you have to show up as a professional and not end up just because you're having a bad day unable to do your work, right?
Mhm. Yes, absolutely. I mean, same as Amanda as well implies it. This topic goes onto any area as well of our lives. It's not just dating and relationships, absolutely, like how we set the standards and don't put up the walls. We don't want to put up the walls. We want to have the standards and then the boundaries as well, and to bring the walls actually down. And then as well, we want to have the standards and the boundaries as well, so that we can actually honor our nervous system as well when it comes to setting boundaries. Because as well, just the other day, I spoke to someone, a woman, a mother, a wife as well, and she recognized as well that she's just overdoing everything to the kids, to the family, and then only she comes then only afterwards, and she can see it, but she finds it difficult to do the boundaries within her own family. And I keep seeing this, actually it is very common out there. So yeah, I would love as well as just like to come together and to share a few insights here, so that we actually can embody the queen inside of us, who actually has the boundaries as well, but they are not built from fear or control. They are built because the queen embodies a deep self-worth of herself.
Yeah, I think
self-worth
boundaries are really, really important. Like Amanda is saying, that you have to have a clear boundaries. People need to know, like at work, they need to know your expectations, what do you expect from them. And it needs to be written like following guidelines and stuff. You can write guidelines and everything, health and safety and everything, but people will still do whatever they want to do anyway. But when you have a clear boundaries of things that your expectations, if they are very, very clear, first you have to know your core values. Get clear on what truly matters to you, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a workplace, however, love, honest, time, peace, and trust. So all these are the foundations of your standards. Define what is non-negotiable. And then after that, decide what you absolutely want to tolerate as a person. Disrespect or gaslight or inconsistency, and never shrink to accommodate it or anything. Because otherwise, like Claudia, you say, this woman, she's struggling to actually set boundaries at home. So you have to set boundaries. Like with my children, I don't yell or scream at my children. I communicate with them, but when I communicate the boundaries, the values of life, I don't expect to be disrespected, and I don't expect for somebody to expect. Because when someone expects me to scream, sometimes my daughter, my oldest one, she'll do things, and then she comes home, she knows she's done something wrong, and she wants me to scream, and I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing? And I'm supposed to be the bad guy. And then we're gonna argue, and you're gonna start saying, "Mommy, you're not fair." And I'm like, I ain't doing that. So I've taught you the boundaries, and I expect you to actually follow those boundaries, the basic ones. If we can't follow the basic ones, even at work, so you have to do what you do. Sometimes I see people screaming at each other. So I'm like, why are you all screaming at each other? And they're like, she didn't do that. She didn't do that. So I'm like, this is how you're going to solve the problem. So I'm like, if someone didn't do it, the best way to confront the situation is to call them, look at them in the eye so that they don't forget, and be firm, mean what you say, and let them know that you mean it. And if that happens next time, there won't be any job for them. Not because of NOMSA, not because of anyone. So I'm like, you just have to let them know not to scream and shout. Because if you scream and shout at somebody, so that means that both of them are wrong. So might as well communicate with each other, even in relationship, communicate. Over to you, Amanda.
Yeah, I think like communication is a really big key because sometimes in your head you might have a boundary that you're like, okay, this is going to really set me off. And then if you don't communicate what that is, then you don't then you end up in conflict with people, right? And so especially with children, like what their boundaries are and that when they become teenagers and even like toddlers, they try to push those boundaries, right? They're trying to push those boundaries and find out where it is to be safe and to have clear expectations for them. And it's setting those standards of how you want people to show up for you, I think is really important. So if you have a friend that's always late and you really value time, that's a problem, right? So you'll have to either set some boundaries around like the time that you spend with them, or you have to like be like, okay, be here at 10 when really you want them to be there at like 10:30 because they just are incapable of being able to respect your time, right? And it's interesting how some people work like that, and you have to be able to navigate that a little bit. Like there are friends that I have that I'm like, okay, this person's always on time. Tell them to be here at 10. This person or 10:30. This person's never on time. So we have to tell them to be here at 10 so that they actually show up at 10:30. And it's like clockwork all the time with certain people that just are completely time incompetent. So if my expectation is that they're here at 10:30, I know that's like a certain friend I have to tell them to be here at 10.
Mm.
Which I think is
Mm.
like learning how to navigate certain things too, right? And so
Yeah.
about boundaries in like, relationships, like how is it that you want somebody to show up for you, right? And how is it that you want, and then don't settle for something that's less than that. I was talking with one of my friends the other day just about dating. She's been with her partner for over 7 years, but she was talking about before when she was like trying to date and all of the people that wanted to just like have sex on the very first night. And she was like, that was like, it was so awful. It was such an awful time. And the partner that she's with now, who she's been with for like 7 years, they didn't want that on the first night. They like waited a bit, got to know each other, and then eventually um were more intimate. But in the beginning, it was very much just a like, let's get to know each other type of thing. And it was like the first time that she had experienced that. And I was just like, that's really what I think more people should be doing. But in this day and age with a lot of like the like app dating and stuff, I think that's kind of where the world is going is a lot more of that like very quick to like physical intimacy and missing out on any sort of like emotional intimacy or and like the value of like really getting to know somebody, because otherwise it's just like empty sex. And I don't know, because I have very different values than other people when it comes to that. And sleeping with random people is not something that I'm remotely interested in, but I know that there's people that are. And so their boundaries and their values are very different than mine. And that's I'm like, you do you. Whatever it is that works for you. I just know for myself that that would make me feel really empty inside.
Mm.
And I think each person is completely different, and some people that wouldn't make them feel empty inside, but for me, it would. And so my boundaries are very different around things like that. And I don't know, Claudia, what do you think with regards to that? Like I
Mm.
see a lot of people in the dating world like just
Mm.
very quick to physical intimacy and
Mhm.
lacking any emotional intimacy in it. And I really think that one of the reasons why is because people don't set boundaries and they're so lost and sad and don't love themselves. And so then they're just willing,
Mm,
any sort of like attention is like, please.
mm,
Yeah, they're
absolutely.
not loving themselves. And I think that's something where it's like when you're seeking something from the outside so desperately, that's when your boundaries and standards plummet.
Yeah, yes. And it never works to find the fix or the solution outside. You have to find it inside and then it comes out, not the other way around. Yes. And what you said as well with the communication, absolutely. I mean, we don't need to yell as well, to justify or to over explain why we think or decided something, just as well to mention this once more as well, we can just be in our truth and say it with the confidence and the energy as well behind it. And then as well, it will be accepted as well on the other side. I mean, as well, some things we can say, for example, is as well, like, I love that you would like to connect with me, but I value my space right now. So this is them showing actually as well. So actually, I prefer to spend some time alone right now, currently, not in the mood of being social, or that doesn't work for me, but I'm open to another way. Again, you just say how things are, and then you suggest like the solution as well. Or basically, we can sometimes just say no, thank you, period, and that's it, and that's enough. We don't need to explain as well why we are doing or choosing or being the way we are with our decisions and boundaries as well. And yeah, and we have to understand as well that it is possible to communicate with grace and not aggression as well, because I relate back to this other woman as well. I spoke the other day as well. They think, certain people think when they start to put in the boundaries in place, in this case, the family, yeah, that they come across like harsh or aggressive and so on. But that's not the truth. It's just in their mind. What if you can just say it with love and compassion and with grace and so on, like totally two different scenarios how we can communicate actually the boundaries. And yeah, so Nomsa, what's your communication style with the boundaries?
You're muted, Nomsa.
Yeah.
So I'm going to comment what Amanda just said as well, and what Claudia you said regarding communicate boundaries. You have to know really what you want. I know, Amanda, you mentioned that people on the first date, they want to have sex, they want to do all these things, kissing and the blah, 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 you name it, because of the dating apps. But the thing is, who you are, it cannot be changed by apps. You have to know your values, and there's gonna be many out there who respect you, who love you and respect you for who you are. Like you say, this woman, she met this guy that she's with, and they both took their time to get to know each other. That's what normal people do. Just taking time and getting to know each other. I think that is really, really important. And also, people get affected by that when they meet people and they want to have sex. You just have to say, this is his one, or just add them to those ones in the bin and say, you know what, is one of those people. It's not that everyone else in this world, they're the same. So there are good guys and bad guys and all these things. And also, as a woman, you have to ask a guy, why would you think I'll have a sex with you in one night if on the first date? Do you think I'm like, am I like, if he's paid for a meal, is it because you paid for the meal? Like, that's disrespectful. So I will actually tell the guy off myself, and so that he does not do it to somebody else. And I'll be even ask him and tell him that I don't think that's how your mother raised you. because mothers, our mothers, they raise us to be something. I can guarantee you all these guys that are doing this, they were raised to respect women. So I'll be like, no. So that is really, really important. And Claudia, you said it's really, really important to set boundaries, like to have a system in place, how you set boundaries. I think that is really, really important to actually first of all, when you set your boundaries, you need to speak from wholeness, not from heart, and communicate your boundaries in a calm and confident way. You don't have to explain yourself. Clarity is queenly. So when you have clarity of who you are and how you want people to treat you, and that is really, really important. For me, that's how I see it. It's like whether you have children or whether you are at work, whether I used to like, I work with people at work. But then you see them when someone is off sick, when they ring in off sick, they're like, no, sir, this person is not off sick because they're just making things up. I'm like, nobody makes things up unless they are doing something. I'm like, just leave me to deal with it. And then I'll go, because me, I like to know if I'm surrounded somebody, some of my really principles is to look after somebody, to make sure that person is happy even at home. So I will try to find out, are they truly sick or is there a problem at home? And sometimes you get to know somebody that they're going through challenges in life. And then it's for me, then I have to say my boundaries are, if you are going through something and you're hanging out with me, or if you're working for me, and you don't have the courage to communicate what you're going through, that means you shouldn't be in my company, you shouldn't be with me. Because if you are with me, you have to have the courage to say, Nomsa, this is what I'm going through at this moment. I need your support. So I'm able to support you. So in that one, I'm very, very firm with it and I don't joke with it. So if you're working for me and you don't tell me what you're going through and you want to put me through that challenges, because if you're going through something and you're not at work, so that means and I off keep getting off sick, that means that I'm going through it, that kind of stuff. So you have to explain it so that I can actually see if I can support you or see if I can just give you time to actually be off and take time, whether you get paid, you get paid and make sure that you looked after. For me, is you getting better. And that's my priority. And I think that is really, really important when people enter your life to see Claudia, these are Claudia's boundaries, principles that she puts in place. And most of you guys in gossip talk shows, you actually have your boundaries. So, which is one thing that I admire you guys, because it shows that somebody's character when somebody has their own boundaries. It's not because you have ego or you have what. No, it's because this is how I have to know who Amanda is. In order for me to know Amanda, to hang out with Amanda, she has to show me the real her. If I don't know the real her, how can I live happily? So it's important to set boundaries, guys. Over to you, Amanda.
Yeah, I was just thinking a little bit as you were talking about like our boundaries on our time, especially at work, because I'm a teacher, and so a lot of things for teachers just get like dumped on us all the time. And I've really found with teachers, lots of them are like just like I'll do anything because they're caretakers and they want to do, and it's like a calling, but they're not setting boundaries on like their time and space and how valuable that time is. And hardly anybody, especially in elementary school, like speaks up for the time that we're doing with things. And that's one of the things that I've started doing, and it's caused a little bit of pushback, but it's also like I'm like, okay, so you want us to do this? Where are you giving us time for it? Because this is just an add-on, and this is just another add-on, another add-on, another add-on of things that we have to do on an already like very busy plate. And so like I used to work like crazy, crazy hours as a teacher. Like I'd be at work at 7 and I wouldn't stop working till I like come home, go to the gym, and then I'd work again till like 9 o'clock at night. And after having my daughter, I really like shifted how I work. So now it's like, how can I be as efficient as possible while I'm at work? And then my time away from work is like my time. And I try really hard not to work too much outside of the like hours that I am at the school, and I don't bring homework on weekends because I'll like work in my head of like things that I need to do, or I'll do like planning in my head, like in the shower or something, but I won't like sit down with my computer or sit down and do a bunch of marking on the weekends because I'm just like, no, like the weekends are my like sacred time. I'll spend like maybe 20 minutes, 30 minutes on Sunday nights checking my emails, but like that's about it. The rest of the weekend is like my space. And I know like the beginning teachers out there have like no boundaries on their time because they're just like overwhelmed by how much stuff they have to do. And that's why a large percentage, I forget what the percentage is with the stats, but it's a very, very large percentage of people who entered the teaching careers quit within the first 5 years. It's a staggering amount. And I think that is because there's like very high expectations of like all of this work that really is just make work projects. And teachers are so A-type personality that they want to do such a really great job. And yet they're like getting so burnt out because they're completely overworked with all of these tasks that they have to do. And so one of the things I've become really good at is figuring out which ones are essential and which ones I'm like, I'm not going to do that. And if I do, I'm going to only do the very minimum of what it says here so that I don't get fired, because I know that's not helping any children. I know this is a waste of my time, so I'm not going to worry about it at all. And I'm going to do the very bare minimum in this section on this paperwork because it's useless. And I'm going to worry about my kids, and I'm going to have fun with the kids, and I'm going to make sure that I'm spending my time planning meaningful lessons, not doing a ton of paperwork that's not helping any of them. And so that's how I balance my like passion for my job and like shut out the stuff that I know isn't actually helping kids. I know it's just like down from the bureaucratic BS, I call it. And it's not worth my time, right? And then there's teachers that just like worry about these paperwork things that we have to do, and I'm like, don't worry about it, nobody's looking at it, nobody has time to look at it. It's just like a check the box thing. So like don't actually spend any time or empathy or caring or worrying about it because it's not worth your time, because nobody's actually paying attention to it. Spend your time on what matters, which is the kids. And so that's how I balance my boundaries at work.
Yeah, and I can
Before you
feel it.
comment, Claudia, Mary says women are the ones to set the standards, and yes, boundaries are very important indeed.
Mm. Yes, they are. Yes, absolutely. And those people who you spoke to, your colleagues at work, I mean, I can't blame them as well, because we were not brought up with this kind of thinking, obviously. Yeah. And if we don't do any thinking, reflecting around it, or as well, like the message we just had as well in regards to the standards and so on, if we don't do any reflective time around it, we just don't know any better. And this is why we are still functioning from that programming. Most likely we got this as well from the parents or the school as well back then when we were younger, because most of us as well were raised in an environment where saying no wasn't respected, okay? Or sometimes even worse, we got punished for saying no, okay? So this is as well a lot where we are coming from. So I totally understand that it just takes some time to get your head around it and to change the thinking and the thoughts as well for this topic, you know? So because if we come from that environment, then boundaries can feel unsafe and scary and fearful. So absolutely, you know? Yeah, so this is as well just once more to mention it. But this is not your fault if you are brought up like this as well. Absolutely not, okay? And there's always an opportunity as well to change and to reclaim as well back your power and just like to let go of this, yeah, what can I say, stories or distorted ideas that people have put as well into our minds when we were younger, you know. And we could have thoughts or beliefs such as I'll be abandoned if I speak up, or I'm not allowed to say no, or I have to give in order to be safe, or I have to give in order to be loved, you know, like all those are beliefs. I'm sure we have them in on some or the other level or similar, like those beliefs, and they are going to reflect as well how we are going to be in the outside world with the standards and the boundaries. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I also agree with Amanda because nowadays they put more health and safety like a paperwork. You no longer like they take away that sometimes the teachers really don't have the time to spend time with the kids because they have to spend time filling out the forms. But what I do with my company, I hire a company that does paperwork. Anything to do with the paperwork, that company focus on it. HR company that focuses on paperwork. They even go online or on the website where I just log in. If there's any paperwork that I need has already been prepared, all I have to do is just put the company, they put even the company logo, I just have to sign it and it give it to someone, whether it's an employee or whether it's somebody. Nobody, no coaches have to do the paperwork. Only the paperwork that you have to do is when you speak to the clients, when they are filling out the forms, nothing else, because otherwise it takes too much time filling paperwork, and you have to know your boundaries because people are dealing with human beings, and human beings wants attention. So if they don't get that attention, so the company is not good for them. I've seen that in a care home. Is the teachers in the care home where the elders, they will spend time on their own while the carers are busy doing what we did this. They have to write the whole story, what they did all day. And when they're writing that whole story, they don't really have time to look after the resident because they're busy. It has to look good on paper. So they have to fill out everything. And that takes time it takes time off them spending time with the people that they're meant to look after. So the teachers, they do the same. It's government, it has to look good. When you complain, they're like, we're doing things by the book here. We're doing paperwork, and the paperwork is looking good. How can you say Amanda is not a good teacher? But Amanda is doing the right thing to actually prioritize. This is my priority. I'm looking after the children. And I make sure children have a good education, and even a bonus that Amanda, she's even a coach, that these kids are actually enjoying her mindset, because not every, like me, I spend time, I don't remember the things that I've learned in school. Honestly, I don't.
Don't remember any of the things you learned
No,
in school.
yeah, I don't
No,
remember.
that's true. Yeah.
Mary says sometimes as a woman, you don't even know we don't even know what we want. So you have to know what I've learned that the hard way. I have to teach myself how I want, communicate my desires. and set those boundaries in place. And some of the boundaries that I do is I have to pick my fight, guys. There are some arguments that don't require me. But some of them, they require me, but maybe once a year, those arguments appear. But some of them, they require me to walk away. So those are the boundaries that I've set in place, that I am not going to open my mouth and start arguing with people for no reason. For me, I find it no reason. Because sometimes you find that there are things that you don't want to do in life. And people will be like, why don't you want to do it? Is it because you're better than me or because of what? No, it's not because I'm better than anybody. It's just, I just don't want to do it. So now you have to explain yourself. Or sometimes somebody may pick on you. So for me, if you pick on me or you think I'm not good enough, I'm okay with it. I don't have to defend myself. But before, I'll be like, who does this person think they are? Speaking to me like that? No way. I gotta fight. But now I'm like, you know what? I'm just walking away. I don't know how you guys deal with the fights and stuff. But those are the boundaries. Like it's something that I really, really don't do. I don't even argue with my children either. I just explain, they listen, they don't listen. I'll go back again and let them know that the consequences of not listening. But I don't punish them because I've realized when you punish someone, they'll just do it anyway because they know they're going to be punished. It's over and done. So I don't punish them. I explain to them that if you don't do this, this is what would happen. So you have to follow the boundaries. Amanda, how do you deal with the people who are angry or who are judgmental?
I was just thinking about like children and like being defiant if you don't want them to do something. And my daughter was telling me that one of like she's only 14, but one of her friends took their dad's car and then ran it into a tree and like called her afterwards and was like bawling about it and like you're not allowed to drive for like 2 more years. And I like said to her, I was like, if you ever did that to my car, you would be grounded for an entire year, like no phone, no TV, like nothing. You'd be in so much trouble. And she's like, I know. But like, I'm just like, it made me laugh because it wasn't my kid.
But she's 14 and she's taking the car. What
Yeah.
was she thinking?
Don't know.
Mm.
Bored. Maybe she's out on like the farm. I have no idea.
Mhm.
I mean, like we drove at 14, but we like were out in acreages and like farms and whatever. And it didn't matter if you're driving a beater around a farm, but like
Mm.
not on like real roads.
Yeah.
What
Wow.
was she thinking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think in that part I'll be lost for words. I won't even scream. I'll be like, you would
Yeah.
have died.
Mm.
Yeah.
My
Yeah. So I
goodness.
don't really know the details other than she like
These kids sometimes the things, did we actually go that far?
I have
Wow.
no idea how far she went or anything. My response was just like, if you ever did that, you would be grounded for an entire year.
Mm.
There would be no fun.
Gosh, yeah.
Um, but I do think that sometimes like with kids we don't know what's going to show up, right? Like we don't know
No.
how to deal with things because things that you never even thought you'd have to deal with, they show up and you're like, how am I going to navigate this? And learning how to set boundaries around things that you didn't expect. Like I never expected to have to worry so much about screen time.
Yeah.
And screen time is something that's huge that I worry about with my own kid, with my students, um, with like even friends. Like So like if you're hanging out with friends and they're just on their screens the whole time, then like what is the purpose of hanging out in the same space, right? We should put our phones away and actually be present with each other.
Mm.
And so I think that's something that's really important too, is to and setting standards and boundaries around screen time with the people that you care about. Because right now I think we're in a very distracted, anxious generation where people, this is their like lifeline, right? As they go, they have their phone with them 24/7. They
Yeah.
like are addicted to like checking to see how many likes they got on a social media post, checking to see. And so like I think sometimes we even have to set boundaries for ourselves
Mm.
around screen time.
Mhm.
We have boundaries for ourselves around the food that we're eating. We have to set boundaries for ourselves around and standards for ourselves around like how active you're going to be. And so one thing that I've been working on is getting to the gym regularly, because I always would go like 2, 3 times a week and I wasn't as consistent and I wasn't getting the results that I was wanting. And so now I'm like really getting into it. And like I've been going like 5 to 7 times a week, and like I've really noticed the results. But it's because I'm setting a standard for myself that like if I want to attract somebody that health is really important to them, then I have to show up as that for myself
Yeah.
as well,
Yeah.
right? And so
Mhm.
I'm going to keep showing up for myself because I want somebody else that's going to show up for themselves in that same way, because then we'll be aligned, right? We'll be aligned in that area and hopefully in other areas, because if you have the discipline to show up at the gym 5 to 7 times a week, then you'll have the discipline to show up in other areas of your life in that same way. And that's how I view that, right? Is that I'm setting these standards for myself because then I want to attract somebody who has those standards for themselves too.
Beautiful, Amanda. And there's a quote I totally love. It is how you do anything is how you do everything. And this totally reflects what you were just saying. You know, you started with the gym, but then you realized as well, if I'm be, yeah, if I be going and I do set the standard and as well, and then it is going as well to reflect in all the other areas of your life. Beautiful. I love it. And I'd like to be like this too. Absolutely. So it took me as well some time to understand this, but yeah, it feels good. So I'm with you. And some, I don't know, like some small things one can start to practice its boundaries. Maybe this week or one of those days is like, for example, something starting small, just by saying no to something that you feel like is going to drain you. Okay, it can be anything, or maybe just a call or a Zoom video link or an extra favor, no matter what it is. But if you feel it, this thing is going to drain you, just practice to say no. Okay, it's just like, you know, because if we are not into those mindset thing and into this behavior, it takes some time as well for us to get into it. Okay, but like start small. Or what I actually started as well to do, and I understand that it works for me very well, is the body check-in. So if someone asks me something, if I want to be doing something, favor and so on, and then I pause and I check with my body, how does it feel? Is it a cringing, a tight feeling, which is a no for me? Or is it an expansive, vast, big, an opening feeling? So that's a yes for me. So that's how I make my decisions. I listen to my body. Yeah. Or another thing is, I mean, yeah, standards. Again, speaking from standards, we can decide like 3 standards, energetic ones as well, or standards that we have, and then decide on how people are allowed to interact with us according to those few standards we have set for us in regards to priority or highest value. So this could be like, yeah, just like some little small things for us to start to put up the boundaries for us, Yeah, yeah.
I love that, Claudia, that when someone wants to do something with you, you have to first check in with your body. For me, what I started doing now is the companies, if a company wants to collaborate with me, I have to go to prayer, because what I have noticed is not everyone we're meant to really work with everybody. So for me, I just check with God, because I don't know that person's character, and I don't know if they're gonna take my life to the next level or they're gonna drown me. So all I have to do is just check them out. But before, I used to be like, if someone connects with me on LinkedIn and they're like, they sound good and I want to hang out with them. But now I truly don't. I have to pick and choose the people that I can, because some people, they present themselves nice, and then after that, they are not really who they say they are. So it's really, really important. And also, Amanda, screen time. Screen time is a problem. I don't know. Honestly, even sometimes myself, when I'm going out, there are times where I'll look at people, they're in a restaurant, and screen time, mobile phones. So I'm like, what's the point of leaving a house, going out, and if everybody else is gonna be checking their phone? For me, my phone goes into my handbag. Um, if you call me, maybe if I miss the call for half an hour, it's not gonna make any difference, even if it's an emergency, unless if it's death, that person is dying, they want me to call an ambulance, that will make a difference. But if you're not dying, you can wait. Whatever that problem might be, can wait. So I don't really like always on my phone. I'm always on my phone if I'm doing something, working on social media, or I'm doing something. But when I'm with friends, I put the phone away. But there are some people, like Amanda says, who have got a bad habit. I don't like the people that have a screen, like when I'm talking to them, they're on screen. And the second is African people. When there's people, or maybe Indian, when there's people who don't understand their language and they speak their own language, I find it so rude. When like one day, my friend, because they were like English people and African people, and she was like, Nomsa, why don't you speak African? I was like, this is it. Why would I speak Africa if there's people, English people, who don't understand my language? And that's rude for me. That I was like, that's rude. I got to communicate in one language that everybody understands. So I was like, I'm not in Africa. And those are the one thing that my stepdad set me down and said, Nomsa, you're going to the UK. You're not going to Africa. Okay. And I was like, what do you mean I'm not going to Africa? And she was like, when you're with people, speak their language, learn their style, learn what they do things, and teach them yours. So you're not there to 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 hang on to your African habits. You are there to learn international things. So let them teach you what they know, and then you teach them what they know. So I get so annoyed when I'm with people and they want to bring Africa to, they're like, so like, if you don't understand our language, we're not going to speak your language. So I'm like, that's rude. Speak in a language that everybody understand. So those are the boundaries that I have myself, that I'm not going to, like, I got to accommodate people in my life. So I think that is really, really important. And Amanda, if you invite me, you got to put your screen away, because I ain't staying with you. If we are talking, you imagine we go in business like a coffee, we're trying to, me, I want to implement, and you are on your screen. Uh-uh. Nomsa, don't hang out with those kind of people. No matter how beautiful the phone is, put it away.
Yeah, I feel that for sure, especially around certain people. But I know for myself, like I will, if my phone rings or something and I'm out with people, unless it's my daughter, I don't answer it. And even sometimes when it is my daughter, I'm like, she doesn't need me right now. It's fine. Or just give me 2 seconds. I'll just answer this and talk to her really quickly, because I think that it's really important to be present with the people that you're with, right? Because we lack so much interaction right now that it's like it shows that you value somebody when you are present with them, right? And so I think that presence is really important. And if you're around people that are constantly on your phone, that you probably need to set some boundaries around it and make them put the phones away when they get to your house or something. Can be like, we're having a digital detox time, right? Because I think that's something that we'll see more of in the future is people digitally detoxing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in regards to me as well, I started to notice as well when it just gets a bit too much to look at the screen, I can just feel it as well. It gets a bit like cloudy in my brain. And then I just understand as well, okay, it's time to put it away. So it's just, I can already feel it as well. My body is already starting to say no to me, just please put it away, yeah. So yeah, in regards to the boundaries as well, I mean, basically as well, we don't own anyone access to our beautiful sacred energy. And we don't have to be mean or harsh as well, or too cold as well to protect ourselves. We don't need to be this, but we simply have to remember our worth, because as so many things in life, I have found as well, they come to self-love or to self-worth as well. So this is another thing as well. It is going to reflect to your self-love, no, self-worth, and yeah, well, self-love to actually both of them, and where you're at with the boundaries as well, and yeah, the fingers as well. And when we are truly embodied in our queen energy, and the queen knows as well, she knows herself and the time and what it is she want to be doing as well, and the things as well she doesn't want to be doing. I mean, then as well, the world outside will reflect this as well back to us, because I live my life according to the world outside is the mirror principle. So when we have those things right inside of us, the standards and the boundaries, which empower, but the walls, they disconnect. So this is just once more important as well to say here. Then we have the boundaries inside of us. It is going as well to be mirrored in the outside world. And people will respect it as well.
Yeah, for me, guys, I would be like, release the fear of rejection, because some people don't set boundaries because they fear of being rejected. It's okay when people reject you for doing the right thing, and let your energy speak before your words do. And stop explaining to people why you deserve respect. And also make self-care a non-negotiable, and celebrate every boundary you set in around you, because it's really, really important. That's what I leave you guys with. People sometimes, there's one thing that I have learned, that if you don't do what you need to do in life for you to walk your own lane, people will come into your life and they will take advantage of you. But it's okay to accept you unapologetic for who you are. Take the ego out and just be you, and just say, this is how I would like my life to be treated. And it takes courage to do that, guys. And mostly you get to realize really who is authentic towards that relationship or who is not as well. like this lot, if they can't make it and go to talk shows, they know that Nomsa cares about them. So they'll be like, Nomsa, Amanda should be like, Nomsa, I didn't sleep very well. Uh, I don't think I'm like, go back to sleep. So she knows that Nomsa will never ever argue with me or question me why I'm not coming. Because I know she's loyal and they've been there. These guys have been with me through thick and thin. So those are the boundaries that I have to make sure that they're being looked after. So they know that they can't pretend. Like Claudia, she started doing something that I love. She goes on holidays a lot, guys. I don't know how she managed to actually say, you know what? I'm just gonna go wherever I need to be right now and just not stay in one place. I kind of like this new Claudia.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Not to say I'm not gonna go on holidays too expensive. She just goes for it.
Well, I make it inexpensive as well. I just wanted to say, it can be made as well inexpensive. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the this you these
Mm.
days.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I changed one of the values as well because obviously as well we upgrade all the time and we change too with the time. So yeah.
Amanda, do you have any words of encouragement?
I think that if you're ready to set some boundaries and to level up and to think about your standards, then it's also like your responsibility to abide by them. Because I know lots of people say like, oh yeah, I won't accept anything but this. And then in real life, you're accepting less. And that's something that is really like you, right? If you're going to set these boundaries, then like you have to be able to like hold on to that. It's the same with when you set expectations for children, like you have to follow through, otherwise they walk all over you. And so if you want something to show up in your life, then you have to like be really clear on those boundaries and standards and then actually stick with them.
Thank you so much. Claudia, have you got anything to say before we go?
Yeah, just like as well, if you're ready as well to go deeper on this, exploration as well, just book a private coaching session as well with one of our coaches so that, yeah, just like let's clear the beliefs that keep your power hidden. Yeah.
Thank you so much, guys. If you're watching, please do share with your families, your friends and family, our video, our talk, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Be part of the family. We have 2 groups in Gossip Talk Shows and Unique Billionaire Mindset. Please join those groups and be part of the family. And follow Claudia, Amanda on their social media. I think they're using the same names on their social media, so you can't miss them. And if you need coaching, please do go to the website. It's www.hseia.coach, or you can contact me direct on my social media, or there's a phone number as well on our page, office number. You can get in touch. God bless everyone and live